Matt is from Netflix. He's a vice president of user experience at Netflix with a focus on HTML5 video. Matt leads both the UI engineering and design teams. And of course, Netflix services hundreds of devices, smart TVs, Blu-ray players, game consoles, general purpose personal computers, mobile devices, and the like. We all know it, hopefully love it. So thank you, Matt, for being here. Davis Frank from Pivotal Labs, come on up.
There?
Yeah, I think so. That looks good. Yeah. Thanks. Pivotal Labs is a company with kind of a motto that I tend to agree with and love. So let's see if we can. So he codes and manages projects at Pivotal Labs. And Pivotal Labs is a development company that believes that development is a team sport. That's what they use on their site, which I love. They practice pair programming, and product managers, designers, and developers work together, sit side by side when they're working on projects. So there's a lot of inner talk between them, and they're closely together bound, if you will. And they integrate the clients into the development process as well with a lot of transparency. So I hope that you will bring that perspective into the talk tonight. Davis is probably best known for the open source community in his Jasmine project. He's like Jasmine, and if you don't know Jasmine, it's an awesome, yeah. Jasmine is, of course, an awesome testing framework for JavaScript. And if you don't know it, you're probably not doing TDD, and shame on you. He's also a dad, a baseball fan, and knows his way around a barbecue, which I saw in your bio. So I would love to come to San Francisco. That sounds great. All right.
This is a pulled pork meetup, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Julia Lee from Facebook, come on up. Julia is a software engineering manager, and she manages the Pages growth, engagement, and monetization teams. Facebook Pages is the public and business-facing entities product on Facebook. Facebook's actually different than I thought. It feels very opaque to me because of the growth. We always talk about the press aspect, so I'm looking forward to hear a little bit of what it feels like inside. At Stanford, Julie focused on computer architecture while working on her undergrad in electrical engineering, and then she moved on to computer science specialization in databases for her master's degree at Stanford. And Julia moved to Facebook from Yahoo, where she was a senior director of engineering, managing engineering teams for Yahoo Mail, Address Book, Calendar, and Notepad. Lots of experience, and smaller at Facebook, which was kind of interesting. I thought, thank you for telling me that. Manju Thomas, come on up, from PayPal. Senior Manager Application Development at PayPal. Manju is a seasoned front-end engineering leader with 14 years of UI engineering with lead positions at Macy's and E-Trade. And at PayPal, Manju leads the geographically distributed global user interface engineering team. They're all over the place. They work together. She focuses on driving technology, tools, and process change. I think we're going to hear a bit about process change tonight to enable her team to be awesome, I hope. Yes? Do we have a hole in our group? Or am I missing somebody? My God, what have we done? I know. I was going to be on this side so I could look at you all, but we'll have a mystery guest. Just leave it there. All right, so let's start out. One of the things we're going to have to do is there's different, everything's talked about at different companies in different ways, right? So it sounds like at PayPal and eBay, it's user experience and design, which is the design group. Is that the right way to think about it?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, so in your experience, yeah, thank you. So the question is about a design versus engineering. Who does do the HTML and CSS? Where's the line drawn? Do the designers always do that side of it, and the developers always kind of stay on their side? Do you see a strong separation of that at the Space Jar?
So I've been at eBay for about 2.5 years.
And your mic's not working.
It's not working. Mic 7. I've been at eBay for about 2.5 years, and I've definitely seen it change over time. Part of it is due to the fact that I think I came with a perspective that front-end development needs to be tied to design really closely, and made some inroads of my own within my own team. I have a prototyping team now working underneath me. But additionally, we partnered really closely with our front-end devs and really tried to build relationships there. So we've seen kind of a evolution of that over time. When I showed up about 2.5 years ago, there was a strict definition line between the two.
Between the two? So when you say you have a prototyping group, does that mean that there's developers that are coding at every level in the stack that work with you, but they're in the design team? Is that how you do it?
Pretty much. I think our focus there is front-end development and also on somewhat on delivery and helping, instead of delivering specs, to the front end team actually delivering code. I think it's a much easier transfer that way.
Okay, anybody have a thought on that? What he just said, to trigger anything? Yeah.
Well, I have two contrasting examples. So while I was at Yahoo, we started out having the developers do all of the markup and CSS. And for our last rewrite, what we did was we invested in an infrastructure templating library, which was open source.
What was
and
it?
I can't remember. My brain is not working
That's fine.
very well. It's open source. It's pretty standard. I can follow up and give you the name of that templating library.
It'll
But
come up in
basically-
10 minutes when someone else is talking.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
But basically, when we invested in that, all of the designers were able to build the markup directly and just insert variable names. And then the coders would program to those variable names, understanding that there were some dependencies on the markup being available. And that really helped us in our process for Yahoo, because you could have the designers design anything they wanted, move things a pixel over, change colors, font sizes, whatever, and the coders just needed to worry about the business logic. Now at Facebook, we don't have anything like that, so our engineers actually program the feature end-to-end from the back end all the way to the markup, the JavaScript, the CSS, business logic, to some extent. So we have no separation there. But there
does
is
that
a-
mean does that mean the design team gets it after it's functional?
Often the design team gets the feature after we've built it, and then we just say, is this okay?
Wow. And I guess you're kind of successful at that. So.
But, I mean, does the UI, can you tell?
Yeah.
But it helps us move very fast, and the designers can come in and make the changes necessary. And we design on the fly. We ship something, we iterate, and then it's hard to know what's the right design until you ship it to people. We do have a UIE team that
So,
builds components.
Can I enable this debate
Sure.
right now? I don't disagree with you about moving fast, definitely. And I think the approach I took is probably an inverse opposite, in that I wanted to enable my team to move really quickly and be closer partners with our development team, so that we could work together and actually produce things more rapidly. And what we've done is built a prototyping platform that really allows us to do that. Going from, we can upload mocks into this, which live seamlessly in what looks like the site, and then start to develop those really quickly, from mock to a prototype to potentially handing off the code.
Yeah, and at Yahoo, the design team ended up merging into the front-end engineering team.
Davis, do you want to add in what's like at Pivotal to do this?
So I am in the middle, right? That's how this is going to work. So Pivotal Labs is a consultancy, so we don't actually get to choose how a design team works and how some of the development team works. So we try to be very adaptive. I've worked with clients who give us PSD mockups, cringe, all the way to people who will give us markup and CSS. It really depends on the client. What we try to do is definitely with our consultants, have them be, and this is one of the other things that we want to talk about in a little bit, so I'll tease it, be as close to full stack developers as possible. Sounds a bit like what you guys do at Facebook, in order to be able to deal with whatever the client comes to us with. Now that said, the closer we work with designers, the better off we are, and we are thrilled when we get a designer that wants to work in markup versus working in pixels, because markup is way closer to the reality. And we espouse and try to teach developers who might be weaker in some of the front end, more closer to pixel technologies, in the CSS and the markup, about ways to work fast and both coach designers on a little bit more markup and coach developers about, okay, yeah, you can't do that CSS because that's not going to work in browser X.
Okay. Matt, you want to add what's going on?
Sure. Yeah, I can give you a little background. So our team is referred to more as the user experience team, and we're all UI engineering, test engineering, and design all on one floor. So we sit very close to each other, and every single project, that idea, hypothesis, something we want to test, starts with a UI engineer, a designer, and a product manager.
And a tester, or is that a different?
And oftentimes a tester. That's not as much a luxury because scheduling and lots of projects going on. But fundamentally, they're starting on a core idea and very involved from kind of day one. And early on, we do not as much prototyping. We do a lot of qualitative research where we'll do usability with our users, and that will really evolve into ultimately building the thing.
How do you do usability?
So design is more. Our designers are more like product managers and experts in interaction design, visual design, and doing a lot of the design work up front. And then when it gets to the point where we can start building that for productization or for A/B testing, which is primarily how we get to shipping a product, then the UI engineer gets a little bit more involved, but they're involved early. So it's interesting to hear some of the different approaches. It makes me feel like, wow, maybe we're the exception case. But
to put a usability test in front of your users, technically, what is it that they're looking at?
We'll build prototypes.
In HTML and JavaScript?
We have 3 prototypers, and it depends on what they're most skilled in. We don't really care what the technology is. Whatever gets it really done fast and dirty, and we can get it in front of 20 people in a day and learn a lot and hone our intuition so that then we can go and figure out what we want to build for our customers to take out to A/B testing.
Okay.
Yeah, but the design team is not participating in any CSS or markup or trying to actually build the thing. Their job is to really think about what is the ideal customer experience, what's the hypothesis I'm trying to go after and prove that's going to move the business forward. That's really kind of their focus.
There's a bit of a stab at Facebook's UI, and I actually want to commend Facebook's UI. I think it's pretty impressive. I mean, in the sense that it's so functional for so many people. I'm a little, and I think of this stack up here, the one that I think I find the most difficult to interact with from a user perspective is PayPal. So can you, Manju, go ahead. Well, with that like kind of kick to the gut, go ahead.
Good debate topic. So we are moving from where we were an engineering driving experience to an experience driving engineering organization. If you look at PayPal site a year back, it had the 1999 design. For us to move that way, what we did was, before we had designers designing up stuff in the concept and design phase, throw it over the wall with a big design doc to the development team, and development team goes off and builds something which is totally different from what designers want, because we are descoping things left, right, and center. So our experience was disjointed. We had product teams which are very disjointed, so we had products which didn't connect to each other.
Let me jump in there for just a second. That design document you threw over the fence, was it like a PDF with lots of screenshots, basically? Yes. Okay, go on.
Yes. Wireframes with pixel specifications, right? 10 pixel, 20 pixel, 12 pixel here. Okay. That's where we were, all right? What we have come to is a place where I think is a dream come true for us. We have, in the concept phase, designers, product, and the UIE. We have UIE engineers, that's user interface engineers, the front-end web developers, in a room. We call it Lean UX. We are Lean UX. We go there, sit there, and designers wireframe sometimes, don't even wireframe, they just draw it on a board. This is what we want to do. We code it up, right? We use Node for our prototype, and we code up pretty quickly, and we have a weekly usability study we go for. Sometimes it's a prototype, sometimes it's a paper. We run through with the usability group to do qualitative data, like how many people accept even a concept. Once that's done, most of this code really goes into our production, right? So which goes into our, from Lean UX to an Agile Scrum mode, where we develop and go to live.
So it sounds like it, from a generality between these groups, there's 2 ways to do it, right? You get coders and designers working very rapidly together and very early on touching base, or you empower the designer to be more program-like by giving it a template or a framework that they get to know well enough. The concern I have with putting in a template system as the step between the design and the engineering, if you will, is that means the design is going to be stuck with whatever that templating system can do. So can somebody address that?
Well, the templating system we used was as flexible as a programmer could program.
All right.
And the designers that we hired were able to build any kind of markup necessary with collaboration with, actually Senthil might remember the name of the, Mustache.
Oh,
That's
Mustache.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, Mustache, you can build anything, and you just put in placeholders for dynamic data.
Okay.
You just need to coordinate that well. So you're really not limited with Mustache at all.